Welcome to the day 12 of the 30 days AI automation challenge. Today we are going to be building something simple but slightly different from what we have been doing. So today we are going to build this simple thing you can see here. All right, so we are going to generate an image, all right, for our post. Usually or in the past videos we have been creating tests, feeding our notes with only tests, writing tests. But today we are going to also create tests and also see how we can use an AI to generate image that aligns with that text and automatically post with the image and the write-up for us in any of our social media platforms. So we have been generating text, right? Today we are going to add generating image to it, and it's going to be a sweet ride. Please kindly help me subscribe to the channel and like this video. So this is the workflow that we are going to be building from form submission to a LinkedIn post or a Facebook post, whichever one you want. And then this is the AI that's going to generate the image for us, and then this is the node that is actually going to support the AI to generate that particular node. We can use any other node, but I will show you when we proceed. And then at the end of the day, after it has generated the image and the text, where should you feed it to? Either our Facebook, our email, our LinkedIn, and all of that. So we are going to practice all of this now. So now let's begin and let's leave here, and then we'll now come back to our n8n where we have been building. So you can use the one on the cloud, that is the one on the website, or you can use the one that you run locally on your Docker, right? So anyone is good, right? But we are going to be using the one on the cloud, right? So let's click on here. Let's begin our workflow. Let's click on here, and then the very first thing we need to do is we will add on form submission. Now you can just freestyle yourself. You don't have to do everything I'm doing here. Your own you can put on a schedule. Let's say you're scheduling the post, right? So you can do that, but for now I just want to do on form submission because it's just one post I want to create and cross post. Assuming I want to schedule them ahead of time to cross post, I will just choose on a schedule. But let's choose on form submission. And of course, when we come here, of course, you can see that you should be able to set this up, right? So what is the form title? Let's say LinkedIn post, for example. This form name, rather, LinkedIn post. All right, just type name it anything you want. There was the description, you can leave it like that, there's no problem. Of course, you should know how to fill forms. Now let's create our form. So in creating our form, the label, the first name we want is the email, that is on the email, and then the text type, the element type should be text. Let's leave it at text. Then let's add another form type, and this one will be topic. That's the topic of the post that we will be generating. And then under this element type, you can leave it at text. Is that okay? Let's add another form element, and this one will now be target audience. Is that okay? Target audience, that is who our post is supposed to target on. Those of you who took social media management from me, you should be able to understand this. So we shall this is target audience. Let's leave it at this, and that is that. So respond to form is submitted when form is submitted, right? So that is that. All right, so now you can see here we are done with creating the form. Once you are done with creating the form, let's click on execute to see, so that we can see the form and fill it. At least fill it once. So I'll be using the variables to do our work, right? So let me click on here. I put this email here, and then the topic I can say what is Elon Musk saying about AI in 2026? That could be my topic. So you can choose your own topic. Is that okay? You can choose your own topic. My target audience will be, let's say, for professionals. All right, sorry, I type it correctly. Professionals and small business owners. All right, just type it here, and then let's click on submit. So if we submit it, you should be able to see the details here. Of course, you can see that we have seen the output. So that's how to actually fill this on form submission. So we now have it here, and it's now working. Is that okay? So the next thing to now do is let me double click it, please, because we need to pin it. Let's pin it here, so that because we'll be needing it, so we don't have to be creating and recreating like that. So let me close it. Let me close it, please. And then the next thing to do is to now put an agent, this LinkedIn agent you are seeing here. Okay, that LinkedIn agent is actually an AI agent. All right, so let's click on the node and then click on AI agent. All right, so click on here, and then of course, as usual, you need to see you need to define it and configure it. That's what I mean. You need to configure it. So let's click on this message as here and then click on define. Now under the define, you can see user message. Under the user message, you need to do mapping. We have been doing this, so this should not be new to you. Is that okay? We want the AI agent to actually pick the variables and not just a particular message. So the more people use it, you should be able to pick those variables. So to define it, we need to actually define it so they can be able to understand what and what is supposed to use. That's okay. So let me just put it on expression and let me open it wide so that we can be able to do it. So I want you to use the topic. So let me just type topic and then I just put here, and then I will now pick this topic here. We are doing mapping. You should know what it is by now, and click on here. And I also want you to actually understand the target audience. Is that okay? So I'll just put the target audience, and then I'll also map the target audience here, which is professionals and small business owners. So just put it here. So this is what this is all. This is the only thing we are giving to the user agent. So let's close it. All right, so you can see that it is here. So from here, the next thing to do is to now add our system message. You should be able to know what the system agent. So this is an AI agent, so we want to tell it everything you need to do about our business, right? You need to know about our business and how to use it to write the LinkedIn post or whichever post or whatever thing you want to do. All right, so this is the post, and usually I will put this in the video description, but then of course, I usually teach you how to generate your own. So let's come to ChatGPT, and then this is what I told ChatGPT. See, if you are trying to type and it's not, it's delaying you. See, ChatGPT has a button here. Even if you're using it from phone, ChatGPT has a button here. Click on this mic here and talk to the AI. Once you explain what you want, click on enter to generate you. This thing was actually generated by using my words. So I say I'm building an automation that will create a LinkedIn post and automatically post it for me. So what I want you to do is to give me a prompt to give to my system message, blah blah blah. I explain everything I want. You can pick it and give it to you. So you generate me this system prompt. All I have to do is click on it and copy it. In case you don't see it in the comment section, you should be able to know how to do it by now. So let me click on expression and let me open it wide so that I can be able to see it clearly and see what I'm doing. So I'll just open it. Let me delete this and then I'll post this here. So let me scroll up and I see it say LinkedIn content. Let me delete this first one. That is the topic. So you are an allies LinkedIn content strategist, research analyst, copywriter, and personal brand expert. Your job is to create high quality. You can see how the thing is. He has an objective, he has research instructions, he has writing style, everything here. So this is the prompt. We are not writing it ourselves. We are in the era of AI, right? So let me click on enter, exit, and then you can see here. That's the whole thing that you need to do here. Is that okay? So you can even execute it to see if it will actually write it for you. So to execute it, we can click on this. But if we click on this, it will not actually do anything. Do you know why? Because we have not added the add chat agent. Let me execute it so that you see. We have not added chat agent. You can see no chat model, no OpenAI. You know all of this. So let me close it. I can see that it needs a chat model to use. The agent you say can't write until you attach a model, either let's say OpenAI, Gemini, DeepSeek, or anything. So but we have been using OpenAI. So let's click and add our OpenAI and then add an OpenAI agent. Click on this one. Now when we add an OpenAI, you saw that we have let me show you something again. Let me delete it and show you something. Let me click on it, and when I click on OpenAI, you can see that we have OpenAI chat model, Open Router chat model. Open Router chat model means, see, we have been using a ChatGPT. If you want to use something like Gemini, DeepSeek, Hinksfield, other AIs, this is where you can actually find them. Is that okay? This is where you can find them. But we have been using ChatGPT, so you can use ChatGPT as well. But I just showed you if you want to use others. Is that okay? So here you can click here. We have been using the n8n that is free, so please ensure that you use the one that has credit. So if the credit has expired or this has expired, you need to buy the API keys to configure it, and I've showed you that I think in the 8 or so. Is that okay? So what is the forms? Let's click on here and then just use any model. We have been using any model, right? That is all for this. We don't want to set anything here, just the model and the free keys. Let's close it, and then you can now see that it now has it here. Now we don't need a memory. We don't actually need a memory, because if you check here, you will see that we don't need a memory. We only need this particular one here, and that is HTTP request, which is Tavily, used from Tavily. Now what we want to do is that we actually want this we actually want the HTTP request, the agent, to do a research for us on Tavily. We have done this in the past, right? To do a request for us, a research for us on Tavily. So once they pick the topic, it must research on Tavily for about the article and everything before it now generates us the post, and not just to generate us random posts. We have done this. This is to make the post highly optimized and properly. Okay, so let's do HTTP, and then you can see we have HTTP request too. Let's click on it, and then here you can see that, of course, remember we need to configure it using Tavily, because HTTP request will be connected to a vector, and that vector is Tavily, right? So research the vector rather. So you can see make an HTTP request, blah blah blah, this thing. So we need this import CURL. So of course we have done this. So we just have to come back to Tavily, and of course this is the Tavily that we're using, and this is the Facebook post we created last. So you can pick any of the keys, or you can even create new keys and do so. But if you want to create new keys, why not? You can go ahead, but I think I'll be using the keys that we have, one of the keys that we have here. Is that okay? So it will also be working for, they're still working. So but before we use the key, we need the CURL, which is this one. Is that okay? Remember, we have done that before. We need the CURL before the key. So let's come back. Let's come back to Tavily, and then we click on documentation, and it's going to take us to the documentation part, and then we now click on API and SDKs. API and SDKs. Of course, this is where you know what Tavily is all about. Of course, I told you that Tavily is used rather for search, extract, crawl, and map. So our duty or our focus is on research or search. So let's come here. We want the AI agent to use Tavily to research on Google or any search engine to get us a well-optimized article. So we click on search, and then when you click on search, you just come to this site. You see where we have CURL. Remember, I told you also that if you click on here, we have others: Python, JavaScript, PHP, Go, Java, Ruby, etc. We need it on CURL. So if your own is not on CURL, please ensure that you click on CURL. And all you have to do is click on copy, and then you are copying the whole of all these things. Now let's come back to our n8n, and then we click on import CURL, and then we paste it here. As usual, it does not concern us with whatever is here. Let's just click on import. All right, so let's click on import, and it's supposed to be automatically fill it. Now, what's important of CURL? The CURL is to determine almost everything for us. If you don't use CURL, it means that you're going to be determining this thing yourself, which makes the work difficult, right? So you have to, just leave it, like just allow CURL to do everything, the Tavily to do everything. So you can see that under here is supposed to make us a post, and then this need the CURL, authentication, leave it like that. All these ones you can leave it like this. All right, so let's come down, and the header, leave everything like this, and then the value here is what we will put our API keys. Let's go back to Tavily again, and I'll just pick this post here. There's no need creating another one. So let me come back, and then please delete this token that's in front of the bearer. Let me delete it, only the token, and then paste this thing there. Is that okay? You can see it here. Now the next thing is leave it on JSON, use everything like this, and let's see this clearly. That is the information that was automatically, the query that was automatically filled from Tavily. So let's open it clearly, so you see it said the query is who is Leo Messi. Remember, we have done this, right? So we don't want the query to be who is Leo Messi, because who is Leo Messi is actually a default. So we want to change it to our own, right? So what we need to do is let's delete this. Let's delete it. Please don't delete the quotes. Just delete only what is inside, and then delete it. And then we want it to carry our topic. So we'll now click on here, bring it inside, and then drop it here. All right, so you can see it here. So also, one thing I would also want to do is I want to actually tell it beside the post, before the or beside the topic, I'll just click here. I say search on the web. I'll put it, say search the web for top article on my topic. I hope you understand now. Then at the end as well, after the comma, you can also write something like this. This should be, all right, so this should be for, or no, not this should be for, this should be suitable for my, so this should be suitable for, you now put my target audience. So just pick the variable and map it. We are actually trying to make the post highly optimized and let the AI knows the direction of what we want and not just random things. So you can see the query here, search the web for topic on what is Elon Musk, and then this should be suitable for professionals and suitable. Of course, you can see the result here. So you can even change. Of course, we have talked about maximum result, but here for now we want to generate only one, right? So let's leave it at this. Everything is okay like this, and we can now close it. So once you close it, you can now see that everything is here. So we need to test it to see if it's actually working. So let's click on execute test. So I click on execution. I can say no parameters are set up to fill. Okay, we need to fill in some things. All right, so let's not leave it at this for now. But the most important one of them, we'll come back to you, don't worry. But one thing I need to understand also is that, please, you see this HTTP request, because we have mentioned Tavily in our request, we need to change this to Tavily, right? Please, so that it will be able to understand the whatever it's doing. If you leave it as HTTP request when we are using Tavily, it might actually not make sense. Don't worry, we'll come back to all of this. So let's see it. Everything is now okay. Let's leave it like this. So we are done from here. We cannot execute from here, and then let's leave from here. So you can see that we now have our Tavily here. So from here we can now add another agent, right? So this other agent is, this one is actually to generate a post, right? It's actually to generate a post. Let's double click on it and let's execute and see. Let's execute. It should be able to write us a post based on that. Is that okay? So you can see, all right, it says most people are missing the real message from Elon Musk about AI in 2026. So it has written us an article, is short something under that, the output. So this means that what we have been doing is working. So please don't execute it from here. Execute it from here, right? So I think that was a mistake we did. We tried to execute it from here, but it's working. So now the next thing to do is, after it has generated the post, all right, what agent should be used in actually generating the image. Let's come back and see what we are trying to build. See it here. After we have done this and this and this, you can see that this one here is the image prompts, is the image AI. So this AI here is only used to generate the post, which we have done and you have seen it. Now we need another AI agent that will be used in generating the image, right? So let's click on here and add here. We don't need a memory for this one. A memory is actually, you know, when you are doing chat, when you are creating a chat bot that has to do with remembering history or remembering conversations, that's when you need a memory. So for here we don't need a memory. So let's click on here and we can have open AI again. Not open AI, please, AI agent. We need an AI agent and not open AI. So we need AI agent. Click on this, and then of course we need to pass through the configuration. Let's click on this. I will have to define it below. Is that okay? We have to define it below. Then under this define it below, the prompt message, because this particular agent is actually to generate an image based on the write-up that has been written, so it has to be the output. So we have to pick the output here and then map it somewhere here. Is that okay? So we have configured it. Now we are not yet done. This is an AI agent. We need to add a system message. Remember, every AI agent will always has a system agent so that the AI will understand exactly what you are doing. So to do that, of course, we can click on add option, click on message, and then you can see it here. So let's go back to ChatGPT again by clicking on ChatGPT, and of course you have to tell ChatGPT that based on the system message that it created for us to create a post, you should generate us a prompt for the image generation on that post. It's as simple as that. You should understand what I mean. This second prompt here is for image generation. So we have generated the one for the text. This second one will now be for, so I think I gave it a wrong prompt the other time. I said the system message is to generate the prompts for the image and not to generate the image. So you can just tell ChatGPT, please generate me a prompt to give to my system message in my AI agent that will actually generate me an image. So the prompt here is you are saying you are giving the prompt that will be used in generating the image, not the prompt to generate image. Please take note. I said the prompt you are generating from here will be given to an AI to be used in generating an image, not an automatic image generation prompt. Is that okay? Let me show you. I've copied it already. And then let me come to my system image message and let me put it on expression and then expand it so that I can be able to see clearly. Sorry, let me expand it and then let me delete, let me delete what is here and then paste it. Now, let me show you something. I said you are an expert AI image prompt engineer. Your sole responsibility is to analyze a LinkedIn post and generate a highly detailed image. So this prompt is to tell this system, this AI agent we are using, to actually generate us an image. So you don't generate, just create a post. Let me show you the mistake I did, and I wanted to show you that. So I came to the AI and told him, generate me a prompt to generate an image. But the right thing is, you are generating a prompt that will now be used to generate the image. So it's not direct generation. So you are actually telling the system image to say, this is the prompt, use this prompt to generate me an image. So assuming I said, I generated a prompt, I say, oh, generate me an image and put it here, it will be confused. So you're actually putting a prompt and say, use this prompt to generate me an image and not direct generation. Is that okay? Because the AI we are using here is the one that will do the work. Okay, so you can just do something like look at the prompts here, look at the prompt the other side if it's confusing to you, so you can understand. Is that okay? So of course you can see it here and then just try to see how everything is looking. I'll try to put it at the video description, so that I'll close it and then you can see that we now have everything here. But I don't like that gap that is up. All right, so we now have everything here. The system prompt is here, everything is okay. So what we can also do is that once we have done with this, we can try to test it, but it will not work. You know why? We have not added a chat model. It's as usual, this is a new one. So let's click on this and then you can see that the AI agent has a chat model, a memory. Of course, you know about this, but we don't want to actually be adding AI model all the time. So what I can do is I can hold this node and then turn it here so that let me use this. So I just connect it directly to here. If you see this, you can see that it was connected directly to this. Is that okay? Now we don't need a memory, we don't need a tool. All right, we already have the AI that will generate us the image. Now what is the model that will be used in generating the image? So we have to add a model. So let's click on here and then you can use Gemini. Is that okay? Let's use Gemini. Now there is something you need to understand. Please pay attention here. We are using Gemini. Let me use Google Gemini and click on this and then I can now choose generate an image, and I choose generate an image. Now listen to something. You need to actually configure this Gemini just the way we configure OpenAI using OpenAI keys. We went to platform.openai.com to generate those API keys we were using, right? So even this one is Gemini, it's another model. So you need to configure it. Is that okay? So if I come to setup and then I come here, you can see that it has API keys and all of this. So to get these API keys, you need to go to a platform called aistudio.google.com. aistudio.google.com. When you come here, of course, you just sign up with your email address and it will bring you here. It will bring you to this dashboard we are seeing. Sometimes you can see we have API keys here, but in case you don't have API keys here, come down here, you see where we have key. Click on here, key here, and then you can now see API key. So you can just click on generate key and then you can just name it anything you want and then click on create key. But I don't want to create any key now. So once you create the key, I've created another one. So I've created one already. So it's just to let me click on it and then copy it. Is that okay? It's just to copy it and then come back to our n8n and then paste the key here and then click on save. If it works, you see connected work for solution. So that means we can use Gemini to generate that image and then you can now click on okay, I don't want this, and then you can see it here. But please listen to something. Before you come to this Gemini, right? Before you come to this Gemini, I think you need to put in your billing. Is that okay? Is that okay? So sometimes they will want you to set up a billing before you can create API keys. So if you try to create API keys and it did not work for you, it means that you have to come here and put your card, like maybe your normal ATM card, like the ATM card you'll be using is Visa and Master. You can't use Verve. Of course, you know that Verve is not recognizable online for transactions. So you can just put it here. So it means that they will be deducting money from there when you create a key. But don't worry, it's not much money. Sometimes it's, I think, 0.2, $0.1. Some, if you can even create like thousands, like up to 100 keys, and they have not even deducted up to $3 or $4. So if you create one API key, they may deduct like $0.01 or cost something like that from your card. So, but yeah, I think you can create free one. I'm only saying that if you can't create a free one, please actually put your billing card. Once you put your billing card, they will try, you can be able to create it. Now, if you think that all these procedures are difficult, you don't want to use Gemini, of course you can use another. Let me close it. Of course, you don't want to use Gemini, you can use OpenAI. You can see use ChatGPT here since you already have the API keys. No need of bringing Gemini. I'm only trying to use Gemini here because what we are trying to achieve has Gemini. Is that okay? OpenAI or ChatGPT is even good. Still, you can still use it. You can still use it here as well. Is that okay? That is as simple as that. Just add your OpenAI and we are good to go. So let me dress this thing to this side and let me finish the configuration. Let me continue by going inside, and then you can now see that it now has my Gemini. This is image generation, generate me an image. Then what model do you want it to be? Just choose any model, is okay, but we want nano banana, so it's already carrying nano banana, so let's just leave it at that. Or you can use 2.5, but I'm using 3.0, so let's leave it at that. Under prompts, of course, we want it to generate the image based on the output, that is the post that the other agent has written. Is that okay? So we need to put the output of that one. So let's click on this AI agent here, and then you can see that we have the output here. Is that okay? Let me click on this one and see. Okay, let's see, this is the output. So let's pick the output and then we drop it here. So it's actually generating us an image based on this output. So let's click on execute and see the result. Let's click on execute and see the result. You should be able to write say the service is reaching too many requests from you. It means that we won't be able to use this Gemini. Why? Because it needs these API keys that I created. It actually needs us to pay money for it, because those ones were just free. All right, it did not work because but it just worked now, but it did not work because these API keys I got from here are not actually free. That's the truth about it. It was default. This default one I clicked was not actually free. So when I tried it, they say we have reached limit, I have to pay. And if you check, I just make payments. I'll just make payment before I can be able to use it. So I just make payment and it's now working. See the amount I just make now. So let me just show you my billing. I just made it now, $10. Is that okay? So you need to actually pay before you can use it. So I just made the payment before these API keys that I created were able to work. So what I did is, after I made the payment, I just created another API keys, copied them, and then I came back to my n8n and then open it by editing it here. And then I change it from here. I change it and then click on saved. And then once I come again and then I execute, immediately I execute, it now shows me the image. So the image is now here. The AI has now written the image based on this. But please remember that this prompt here, this particular one here, is not actually the first AI agent. It's actually the second one. If you put this first one, you will not get result. You need to put the second AI, the second output. Remember, we have two AI agents. It's the second one. Let me show you. It's the second one that will actually do the work. If you put this one, it will not work. If you put this one, it will work. So let me double click on it again and show you. So you can see that we have two AI agents, this one and this one, right? So the image is actually showing in data. So let's click on view. And you can see that the image is you can see how the image looks. About something like this is very good based on our article. And this sounds like, or looks like Elon Musk written from there. So you can put it on table, binary, and all that, but let's leave it here. So let's click on here and you can see that the image, the article has been created. All we have to do next is, now after it has been created, the writer, where should it be sent to? Is that okay? So you can now click on here and then you can now maybe put, let's say you put LinkedIn. Is that okay? Let's say you put LinkedIn, sorry. Okay, LinkedIn, you can see here, you can click on LinkedIn and you also have to create a post. You have to configure it just the way we were configuring that WhatsApp. So go to LinkedIn developer, get the API keys. If you want all those ones, you can just check and see how to do it. If you want to put, let's say, Facebook, so you can put Facebook, and you can see that we have, sorry, it's still under LinkedIn. That's why. Let's remove it and put Facebook. All right, Facebook. I can see it here. You can just put all of them. Most of these things we will do them as we proceed anyway. So you can just come here. You can just put Instagram, and you can just put anything. So anything works here, right? But now we want to actually we want to post it directly to our email. Let's say we want it to automatically send to our email. So what we need to do is just put Gmail. Of course, if you check what we are trying to achieve here, what we are trying to achieve here is actually having a Gmail, but we can post it to LinkedIn, or can see that it's possible. So we put Gmail and we want to choose send message, send a message. Click on send a message, and then it brings us here. You can see that the information is now here for us, data. Now let's click on here, of course, customize it, ensure that everything is called send message, send operation. Which email do I want to send it to? Let me put this image. Now if you want you to, let's say, be sent to multiple people, all those people that used to do a image or email automation, so what you need to do is you need to put one email. I will show you when we come back to it. Now you put your email, and then what is the subject word? Let's say what Elon Musk has to say about AI in 2026, and then the HTML, please leave it the image type as HTML, right? So the message type, of course, is supposed to carry the text that we wrote. So let me come back, leave it on here. Let me come back here and come back to AI agent 1 or 2. I think this agent 1 or 2. Okay, let me click on this one. And this AI agent 1, this is a high-tech futuristic image, a corporate bedroom. No, this is not the one, please. We want the real text, the real write-up that is going to be filled. Let's say most people don't realize, okay, this is it. So just put the output and then map it to the message. So it's supposed to send this message to our email. Now I want to add something like this, and I want us to add attachment. So let's click on attachment, and the attachment here, let's click on attachment again, and it's supposed to be on data. This one here is the text, this one here is the image. Is that okay? So leave it on data. Why is it on data? Because remember, the image actually shows data. Is that okay? So if we come back and say, let's put it on Jackson, and then let's click on here and put it on image generation, you can see that the image is on data. That's why this attachment will be on data. We're actually attaching the image as data to it. So we are done with this, and the next thing to do is let's click on execute. And then of course this has been automatically sent to our image. You can see label is sent and it's still on read. So let's go to our email and check. So let me come to my email, and you can see me. It's sent directly to me. Let me click on it. What Elon Musk has to say about AI. You can see it, blah blah blah. So you can now copy it and then cross post on your channel or your Facebook or LinkedIn or everywhere. Most people don't realize this is the text, this is the attachment. So right, that is how to actually do this workflow that will actually bring in your image. Let me close it, and you can see that everything here is working. Is that okay? I think the only reason why this might be a bit how they call complicated or difficult for you is the fact that you need to pay in order to get this image generator. But like I said, you can use OpenAI. Try OpenAI if it will work, because we already have the free AI keys. If it works, fine. If it does not work, you can use another one. But for you to use this one, you need to pay a small token. Is that okay? But the most important thing here is that even if this is not working, please attach the email here and try to see if you can send this text directly to your email. But this should work if you pay a small token of $10. I think it's $10. Then it's not that $10 is what you'll be using to buy the API keys. You will use deposit $10 in your how they call studio account, Google Studio account, and you'll be using it to do all over. It's not even $10 that will be deducting. $10 is a small deposit that you deposit. Okay, from there, when you buy an API key, maybe they will deduct like 0.1, like I've said before, 0.2, 0.3, but the money will still be there for you to use many times that you are going to be using it. Is that okay? So if you actually want to go far with this, you actually need to at least subscribe to it, so that you can be using to create API keys and generate for maybe if you're managing other people's social media and all of that. That's okay. So that is that, and that's what we have for today. This is it, and I will see you in the day 11 or day 13, where we'll continue with our automation. Please kindly help me subscribe to the channel and like the video, and of course please practice what we have done. Post it on your social media, post it in the comment section, talk to one or two people in the comment section, share this video to people who want to learn AI automation, and if you have any question, of course reach out to me. I will see you in day 13.